Welcome back to the Forex Fortress, and so much to talk about today as we follow up on the short-term time frame analysis for all the major US dollar pairings, and of course Bitcoin's moving as well, and perhaps want to even check out some traditional markets too. So with that in mind, as always, we're going to start it off with good old Dixie over here, and as we spoke about yesterday, coming back down to that $92 base, of which that does leave a little bit of downside in the more short term, yes. However, long term, still looking at this as likely a macro low, or at least that's my first interpretation of it, as long as it holds on a weekly closure above about 92 bucks, maybe a little bit below there. Can't get wicks below, not super problematic, but as long as we are closing, especially weeklies above and even dailies too, although I wouldn't put as much weight on a daily, I would still look at this as more or less a bottoming region. And so with that in mind, yes, short term I would be bearish on this. However, long term, still looking at this as likely to kind of grind its way up, probably test it a few more times, and then we'll come back to it over the next couple months. Anyways, with that in mind, we're going to go over and start off with good old Aussie dollar on this lovely day. Headed back up towards about 73.5, and I'd be looking for this one to extend a little bit more towards 73.75 right here. Daily looking good, weekly also looking good, and while short term I would be looking for that move to 73.75, I could very easily extend that on the weekly to just above 74 cents as well. This one is looking good for at least a little bit more upside right here. As momentum also to turn back around actually on the weekly, so fair enough. Long term does look like it wants to kind of turn the corner here, and then more importantly on the short term time frames, short term is bullish as well. So short term, medium term, and long term actually looking for some upside, and there we go. Moving on to Cad Dollar right here. What do we got? Short term, yeah, a little bit of upside as well. I believe we did say yesterday. Did I say yesterday back down to like 75.90, or did I say back up to 76.50? Either which way, the more important thing is today, as that's all we have. We only have the present at the end of the day, right? And I'd be looking for this one to pop back up towards about 76.85-ish region. Anywhere around this prior high right here would look about good. So short term and medium term looking good. What about weekly here too? Weekly still a little bit under pressure, so I wouldn't necessarily call the long term bullish on this one. But yeah, short term and medium term, I would be looking for some upside. Again, proverbial target's going to be, what exactly was it again? Somewhere right around here. Yeah, about 76.60-ish region. And on the daily, that was 76.80. Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Let's move on to Swiss franc dollar over here, which is difficult to say. Got a whole fucking mouthful. Yesterday I was looking for this one to come back down. Going to be wrong about that one, obviously. But would I be looking for some more upside here? Well, short term, yes, it is. Wait. This one's actually a little bit sideways. This one's not all that obvious. What about the weekly here too? Weekly here too, it's hard to get super bearish on this one, even though the critical point is not so far away, 108.75. So yes, I believe I was bearish on this one yesterday, so I am certainly going to be wrong on this one. But what now? Yeah, I probably would be looking for a little bit of short-term upside, probably back towards about 110-ish region, and then we'll come back to it after that. Could extend that run towards about 110.5. However, I really want to see this one in the short-term time frames over the next few days, because things are happening right now, and I don't feel comfortable calling that while the weekly is looking as such at the current moment. Looking at euro pound, what do we have over here? Downside is the name of the game, as we said yesterday, and I'm still looking down on this one too. I'll be looking for it to pop back down somewhere around about 89-cent region, and probably try another small bounce somewhere in that region as well. Moving on to euro dollar right here. What do we got? Motherfucker. God damn it, man. This one's back around 118.5. You bastard, you. Oh, you bastard, you. How dare you? How dare you? Probably would be looking for a short-term pullback around this area just based upon that, but let's see what the low-term time frames say. Yeah, retesting this area right here, whether it officially tested at like 118.9 region, I would be looking for a short-term pullback, probably coming back down somewhere around about 118.5 region. However, and daily's kind of hard to ignore. Weekly can very easily turn bullish here too. If this one does take out last week's high, I'd be looking for a retest of the prior high on this run about almost actually a little bit above 120 if that would have happened. So Jesus, man, god damn. Oh, how dare you, you damn euro dollar, you. I hate you. Pound yen, what do we see over here? I believe yesterday we were looking at this one as more or less sideways, and I'd say this one's more or less sideways. I would be looking for another pop up to the to the upside. I believe yesterday we did say somewhere around like 139-ish region. We actually almost got that area before playing out some more sideways, and I'd actually be looking for the same trade essentially to happen once again. Daily, a little bit of upside here too. Weekly, not much to make out of that thus far. So short-term, medium-term bullish, long-term, still in a long-term descending triangle here. So hard to love it, but short-term and medium-term does look a little bit more upside. Pound dollar right here. What do we see? Ooh, baby. I'd be looking for some short-term downside actually, just based upon backfilling the last high that we put in there, maybe back down towards around 132.25. However, this one's looking like it's going to give a legitimate try to actually break out to the upside. I'd keep a keen eye on the weekly. Obviously, the weekly's not going to be closing for another few days here, but any sort of a closure really above like 133.25, and I'd be looking for this one to reapproach those prior few highs right around 135 region and maybe beyond. But for right now, I would be looking for a short-term pullback and then probably another try back up towards 133-ish region. Moving on to yen dollar, what do we see here? This one looks a little bit strange, kind of like a Swiss franc dollar as well. If I did have to call it, I would be looking at this one as more or less likely to give a little bit more upside here. Short-term target would be about 96.15, we'll call it. What about the weekly? Weekly's still okay too. I do have a rule that I'm just not bearish on anything that is above all major moving averages while they have positive slopes, and that's exactly what we see right here. So yeah, short-term bullish and long-term, yeah, it's going to be bullish as well. So fair enough, I'll leave it right there with a nice little pivot point right here, actually, right around 95.65. And let's just get rid of that lower one. We don't need it. All good. All right, moving on. What else we got? We got gold dollar over here. And, ooh, did pop back up actually very aggressively yesterday, which was quite impressive there. Hey, not bad. What would I be looking for today, though? Would I be looking for this one to give another try to the upside or continue more sideways? I'd actually be looking for it to range on the lows still between where we're at right now at about 1895 and the current low area at 1862, or just 1860 because it's easier to say. Now, if we do take out yesterday's low to the downside, which is 1864.5, I would start to really look for a big breakdown here. But for now, am I going to be wrong about that actually? Hold on. Let's go back to the daily here. Yeah, I do still lean downwards on this one, to be fair. Yeah. Okay, fair enough. There we go. All right. What else we got? Let's go check out Nasdaq futures as well, and popping back up above 12,000 bucks. I'd be looking for this one to continue above 12,000 bucks. Still looking for that target of 12,150-ish region to be hit. And don't really have anything to add up on top of that. I imagine SPY is probably looking more or less the same. So, again, still short-term bullish on traditional markets. And then on to Bitcoin, of which I did say this morning I'd actually be looking for a pullback probably before further continuation. And I'm going to be wrong about that, like fucking obviously right here, as it does head back up towards about 17,000 bucks. Actually just ticking 17,000 to the T on BitMexico right here. So fair enough. At the end of the day, I do believe this is likely to just hit our next sort of upside trajectory target, which, if you remember from this morning's video, is going to be, it's not the end of this blue box right here, although this will be relevant for a short-term time frame region, but the 272 extension right here, somewhere around about 17.3 region. That's also going to be around, I believe, the 3-day topside Bollinger Band. Yes, indeed it is. That's actually 17,200. So anywhere between about 17.2 and 17.3 is kind of where I'm looking for, likely on this run, and I would be looking for a short-term pullback based upon that. I still stick with what I've been saying, though. While things do look very frothy and toppy here, at the end of the day, I'm just unwilling to call a major top and looking for one of those bigger, badder pullbacks until Bitcoin officially closes a 3-day doodle below the topside Bollinger Band, and then I need to see a weekly below it as well. But of course, one thing before the next, and the 3-day just closed yesterday night above, which was driving new highs on this run, somewhere around about 72 to 73, or sorry, not 72, 17.2 to 17.3, and then that could potentially be another area of caution. But for right now, yes, still looking for a little more upside, I suppose, in the the shorter term time frames. 4-hour looks like it's actually just breaking out right here. I mean, this is getting very aggressive, but as far as the DMI goes, actually we're just getting a fresh signal, to be fair. ADX is strengthening, DMI plus is dominant. I should be looking a little bit further north on this one, and then what? Wait, why do I get? Oh, that one's on a 15-minute. That's why. Anyways, yeah, MACD also crossing the upside as well on the breakout. That's pretty much picture perfect. So yeah, I would be looking for that deeper target to get hit first, and then I'd be looking for things to cool back on off, and potentially that area is also potential high area, to be fair. But again, no highs for me to be called until those two points of criteria are met. I will not be calling any major highs before that. So until then, yeah, I guess I'm just cautiously bullish is the way that I'd say it. And I still do think that Bitcoin will very likely come back down and test somewhere around 16.3, just our last 3-day open right here. But that will very likely be a bounce at, on the first pass. And actually, how far did we get down here? 16.570. Open here was 16.339. Yeah, fair enough. So it still has about 150 bucks on that one. So for right now, cautiously bullish, still looking for those upwards targets to be hit. And then I would be, going to be cautious on the other end, to be fair. So with that in mind, I do want to wish you the best once again. Take care, and until next time.